Oh. Oh, this must be the new character model. Yep, that's right, guys. Oh, new character model today. Seem to be having a little bit of multiplayer fun there with myself. Yeah, new character model. It looks the same as the old one, of course, but if we were to look around it very, very closely, you'll actually notice that it is a higher poly model. Some of the cowling around the head in the past I noticed was, well, you can see the polygons there. They've cleaned it up a bit, and the texture you'll notice is a bit different. The screen doesn't seem to be quite as reflective. If I move back and forth, it would appear that I'm seeing the outline of a square reflection map of some sort, a cube map in the visor, but you can't really see it too well. Now, please note, you can still change the color and everything with this character model. And, please note, the character model is, of course, not the only thing that's been updated. Looking at the character, you can see that it has a bit of a different stance. In fact, if I was to go ahead, land right here, switch into the third person, you can see as I run, the character animation is a fair bit different than the one we were just seeing a second ago. Also, I'm not actually holding shift. Right now, I'm just running normally. If I actually go ahead and hold shift, you can see the running animation is a fair bit better than the old one. In fact, we can go ahead, turn our camera here again, pop into spectator, and you can see the character. Yeah, it's a much nicer run animation than it used to be. Yeah, it's pretty nice, and I nearly fell off there. Other things they've changed. Well, check this out. Using second stage here, I can turn on his thrusters and flap, and you see whenever one is flying, that they actually have their legs dangling down there. Now, it would appear that I'm getting some weird lag here with this character, I guess because it is multiplayer. But notice when he moves also, his feet dangle a little bit. It might be actually easier to show this from using my actual character. So let's move second stage out of the way. And there we go. So let me hover up a bit, and yeah, it looks a bit smoother here. So some multiplayer funkiness. Remember the reworking multiplayer, so we'll see that changed in a bit. But yeah, you can see as your character flies now, his legs sort of dangle away. And in fact, if I bring him up into the dark, I'm not sure if this was there before, but you can definitely see there's actually a blue illumination on your character now whenever you fire the thrusters, and actually whenever they're on, I guess, is really how it is. If I shut them off, of course, no blue. And of course, I fall. Also, let's go ahead and drop really quick. There you go. No real dropping animation to catch yourself or anything. You just sort of hit the ground. But you can see some of the animations, if I run through them real quickly, have been updated a little bit. So you got your jumps as per usual. They look about the same. A bit more, I'd actually say monkeyish with the way the hands fly in the air. You can crouch down. When also you're bending down, you'll notice that you're no longer do you bend over pretty much all the way. You look a bit off balance here, but at least it's not. Well, I guess it is still pretty odd. Looking up, you no longer have your backpack sticking right through your character, and as you go ahead and switch between your tools, as we pull out some of these, you can see they're all about the same. I don't think this... Oh, dear. Okay, well that's new. I've just discovered you can hurt yourself by aiming down. How did I do that? What? Okay, well that would appear to be some spectator-only nonsense, because I have spectator in survival mode. I bet you this is one of those things where... Nope, that is very confusing. I actually have no idea how I've managed to do that. Okay, very odd. I don't know why that happened. Anyway, you can see that the tools and everything pretty much handle the same as usual. Now, something I did notice, I don't actually have ammo, but the gun animations and stuff all seem roughly the same. I didn't pay too much attention before, but what I did notice is when you're holding the gun, it seems like it's a bit higher up than I remember, but you can still aim down sights, and I'm sure that all this will be tweaked in the future. I'm not sure it's actually a bad thing to have the gun all the way up here. It does block an awful lot of your sight, but let's be honest, it doesn't really matter too much. Now, moving on from this, we're going to go ahead and head down here to something else they've done today. And to get there, we're going to go ahead and take a right turn right here, I think, and head through this door. And we'll pop this door open right here, head on through, and this will lead us to a room completely dedicated to cryopods. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, they have added cryopods to the game. Why? Well, it's so you can log off on a multiplayer server and still keep your inventory and hotbar setup. Because if you probably have played on multiplayer and you weren't the host, you might have noticed that every time you leave a multiplayer game, you lose everything that was in your inventory. It's deleted, as well as your hotbar setup. So all the keys at the bottom of your screen will get wiped. Well, now you can hop inside one of these, and oh dear, there's second stage over there now. and you'll actually be able to keep your inventory. And when we hop inside one of those, you see the view is, well, presented with this terrifying thing, because the idea here, I think, is they no longer have to render your character at all, so they don't want your character existing whatsoever, and they wanted to still make it look like you were inside of it. I'm guessing that. Otherwise, I don't know why they didn't just model at least a little bit of the other side of the door and just have the windows there. Maybe they will in the future, and they just wanted to do this for a placeholder. They give you a little something instead of you just being a floating camera. But while you're in here, you can't look around, you can't do alt or anything. Now, for this to work properly, you do need to have two things, energy and oxygen. And to demonstrate such things, we have one setup through this room. So let's go ahead and pop this door open, and pop this door open. There we go. And you can see this cryopod here has its lights set to blue, because that indicates that somebody's actually using this. Now, if we were to go ahead and cut the oxygen supply here, with Second Sage in there, we can go ahead and take that down. Second Sage inside there isn't actually using up oxygen. Because he's in the cryopod, his oxygen doesn't get used up, his energy doesn't get used up. Now please note, if you hop in one of these when you are low on O2, it'll actually refuel your suit oxygen. You can even hop in there with your helmet off, and it'll still keep you alive. But just be warned that you are in a spot of bother. If somebody was to say, do that, your energy will start to drop, and so will your oxygen. Now let's go ahead and really quickly reattach that. And your energy stops dropping, but it seems to have woken it up as if it's knocked you out of stasis, and Second Sage's oxygen is now dropping. So it's a bit scary, you gotta be cautious with that. But let's go ahead and take Second Sage here and tell him to exit game. So there we go, he has just left. Player disconnected, Second Sage. Well, strangely enough, I still see his character name right there. It's a bit weird. We do F3, you can see that he is definitely no longer here. But let's go ahead and get him back on here, shall we? So, on the other screen, he's rejoining right now. There we go, says he's connected. And he is loading in. And there we go, he is fully loaded in. Now, unfortunately, it still shows his oxygen is dropping, but I don't believe it's dropped while he was offline. So it's a good place to hop in, log off. Now, strangely enough, if we hop out of this, we can see with Second Sage that his hotbar setups have been saved. In fact, we can even go to his inventory, and you can see I picked up 9 metal on him. Well, he still has that 9 metal, so everything there worked. Now, there is a little something risky that one could do is, if he hops in here, you can see the energy bumped back up. Oxygen is unfortunately still dropping, but of course, if he was to log off again, he's safe and sound. Well, what happens if somebody, let's say, floats over here and decides to be mischievous and disconnects his cryopod while he's in there? Well, it's gone to red to indicate that something is most definitely wrong. But, well, is he alright? It still shows his name. Let's see. If we had a control panel on the back of this, what might happen if we converted to the ship and pushed it around? Or if we just used a little tiny control panel on the front. Hee. So let's go ahead, convert to ship. It still says Second Sage is in there. Let's go ahead and push it about, shall we? There we go, it's moving. So theoretically, you could move this around, and next time Second Sage joins, he should be wherever this thing has drifted off to. Now, let's see, it does look like they've changed that a bit. Let me push it up here, get it going a bit faster maybe. It's a bit hard to push. I do remember that in the past, the actual host couldn't push things along. Maybe that was just small ships, but this does seem to be working now, so that's a fix as well. And there we go. So let's go ahead and get Second Sage back in here. It takes him quite some time to rejoin. Even though it just said player connected, Second Sage, it'll still take probably about 2 or 3 minutes for him to actually load in. And actually, we seem to be in a spot of bother now, because if you look at Second Sage's screen, you can see that now it's just telling him places to respawn. It's not actually telling him, well, that his body is still stuck here in this thing. Now, what would happen, let's say, if we were to reconnect this? I can't quite easily find out, but what I can find out is that if we go ahead and destroy it, the body will fall out of it. So yeah, there's Second Sage dead on the ground. Now, can I get access to his inventory? I've pressed K on him, nothing popped up. Unfortunately, it looks like his inventory might have been lost to the void. A bit odd that I can't access that anymore. Oh, there it was. I saw it for half a second. It's a bit finicky. There. Aha, so you can still access his inventory. You see exactly what he had. Also, you might have noticed there the ragdoll, and that's right, character's now ragdoll. So I could well, I can't really reach the character too well. There we go. I can sort of start pushing the dead second stage around. Can't grind them up, can't cut off limbs. A little sad at that, but I doubt they'll ever add that. But yeah, you got your ragdolls you can muck about with. I'm presuming the characters will still despawn after 5 minutes. But something fun we could do is go ahead and get second stage back in here and just have some fun with ragdolls. Oh dear God. Yeah, as you can see, some funk does happen. But hey, inertial dampeners off, you can always have some more fun. Oh God, yeah. But as you can see, it's a bit laggedy-daggedy right now with the ragdolls in multiplayer. I could, of course, go ahead and just down myself, but I think maybe we won't do that quite right now. Oh God. Yeah. Ragdolls, they're a bit finicky right now. But it is pretty cool that they're getting them there, and they'll only improve, I am sure. Let's go ahead and do that. And of course, once we get AI, I'm sure they'll have it too. You can see though, the ragdolls, they seem like some funkiness is going on with just how the collision's working with the backpack. What else do we got? This guy's face down. Again, the backpack sort of merged through him. This guy over here. Yep, same as the first guy or two. Pretty cool stuff. Also, custom character models. If you had a custom character model, it's now not going to work as well as custom animations. Those are now all going to be funked because of this update. Because they've redone the animations as well as the model. Even my texture models are going to use a bit of a retweak. Trying to get them in the pile. There we go. Now burn them! Anyway, yeah. Gonna be... Ooh, all the names. Yeah, anyway. Your gut textures and whatnot, your custom characters, they're going to need a little bit of a retweak, but that shouldn't take too long for most people. Especially if it's a custom texture, all you really got to do is re-export your stuff. And they should be good to go. In fact, you might not even have to, depending on how you did it. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. This is today's update. It's a finicky fun one, ain't it? A lot of useful stuff with those cryopods. New character stuff is brilliant for the future of the game. Ragdolls are a bit finicky, but hey, they'll get better. Just as everything in this game always does, and I'm sure they'll keep tweaking everything. Anyway, guys, that's it. Thank you a bunch for watching, and I shall see you guys next time. Oh God, I nearly forgot. It's such a cool feature, I nearly forgot. You can also walk now. So you can see your running speed, it's 4 meters. You go up to 7 when you're running now, a little bit slower than the past. You can also drop down to 2 if you hit caps lock. On the left pinky there, caps lock. You can now walk. I'm just walking around. I am walking around. Look at my arms are out to my side. I'm like George W. Bush saying, look at me, my foot. Ooh, da 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 da.